Fingertips. Just the tips.
Okay, lead us into this non-anxious episode.
All right, Lord, thank you. Thank you for this opportunity with Noah, as in the days of Noah. Lord, you brought us together at AMR, and now you were both in the fire service. We both dealt with the same things, and who would have known it would have brought us together today? Lord, I ask that you anoint me with your Holy Spirit. I ask you to give me wisdom and discernment today. I just speak a hedge of protection around this building, around this room, and protection over all the equipment in this room, Lord. I ask for your ministering spirits to be here. I bind any spirits that are not of you right now in the name of Jesus. And I loose more of your peace into this room. I command peace into this room. I command peace over my body. I command peace to my nervous system. Lord, you show me what you want us to talk about. Bless and guide our conversation, Lord. You knew we would be here today, and we thank you for everything you've done for us. Thank you for this country. Thank you for all the provision you've given to us. Thank you for our health in this moment. I ask you also to answer all the unspoken prayers of my heart. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you for that.
Oh, yeah, bro.
Dude, you've had a bit of a journey.
Yes.
A terrible journey, and
Yeah.
I can say that because I know.
Yeah.
I dealt with very, very, very similar stuff, unfortunately.
You're the only one that's, had the same stuff happen to them as me with, the panic attacks and losing their mind and all that jazz. And I'm so glad you called that day because I had never met anybody else that had the same things with, going to the hospital and nobody knows what the hell is wrong with you. It was awful. It's still awful, but now it just makes more sense going through the storm, you know?
Do you feel like, and we'll get into some of the specific treatments that you did and I did, but do you feel like now that you know that it's anxiety, you're at least at a point where you're not going to go back into, although you said you had a panic attack not too long ago, but do you feel like you're over the hump at all? Or what is your day-to-day gauge?
So the main trigger for me right now is when trying to get back in shape and working out. So when my heart rate and blood pressure go up, it feels a lot like a panic attack. And then my fight or flight will kick in. And then it's just I just start dumping waves of adrenaline and I got to ride it out for 20 to 40 minutes. And then after that, which that happened actually last Saturday because I tried to do 5 minutes of burpees like a moron after a full workout. And it put me into a panic attack. So then after that, for the next week, it's my nervous system is still just and I have to, now I know though, we're talking, when you realize it's anxiety and it's panic disorder, you understand it's your amygdala firing off too much, that it's going to subside. Where before I was I'm going to die. This is a heart attack. The doctors didn't know what they were talking about. And it's just a matter of time. So
when you say ride the wave, what do you do when you get your panic attacks now? You did the 5 minutes of burpees, and now you're going on a 20 to 40 minute wave where you're going to come out of it. Mm-hmm. Do you have a structured response that you do, physically, mentally?
Initially, I do two things. One is if I know it's bad, I'll take an ice pack and put it on the back of my neck to stimulate the vagus nerve, right? To hopefully, bring down my nervous system. And I'll lay down and I do breathing exercises. I saw a somatic therapist and she told me to do these breaths called the VOOs. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
So basically you do the same thing as box breathing, but then on the exhale, you just you literally go and then go for as long as you can, okay? And that vibration is supposed to stimulate the vagus nerve and bring you down. I've had that work, when I was in a therapy session with this lady, we were going deep and she's I forget what the hell she asked me though, but I was kind of pulling away from it. I didn't want to go there. Well, anyways, long story short, I go into a full blown, I'm going to the hospital panic attack with her. It was that bad. And I'm like over on my counter, I'm doing a virtual session. She's in Florida. And the backpack with my Ativans over there. I'm like, I think I gotta get my meds. She's like, just stay with this. Like, just stay with it or whatever. She's like, I want you to try this thing. Like, do the VOOS. She's like, try this thing called the VOOS. So I do the breathing. I stay with her. But the key is when I have somebody that knows what's going on, you're co-regulating with them. Because that's the crap that didn't happen to you as a kid in childhood when your parents didn't teach you, maybe, your parents, how to cope. They didn't co-regulate with you. That's how your brain learns as it's developing as a child. I didn't have that. I didn't have bad parents per se, but they just, who the hell knows this stuff? We all know it now because we have podcasts and, YouTube and all this crap. So I was able to pull out of it then, which was freaking crazy. I couldn't believe it worked, but I mean, it was like, I don't know. It felt like a cold plunge, like afterwards, like coming out of that. But this last panic attack, the ice wasn't working, the VOOS weren't working, and so I had to pop an Ativan, and I was just like, son of a, because that's the last thing I want to do is have to take a freaking pill. So
does that wreck your day if you end up having to do that? Is
so
that part of the
normally,
well,
sometimes it does, but because I was so jacked up, it didn't do a damn thing, but just like make me normal. So that was, but I'm slowly coming down. So yeah, and that's the thing is it's like all the stuff that works, in my opinion, is very practical. Everything is one day at a time with addiction, anxiety, depression. If you break it down to that moment or just like that morning, that afternoon, that, whatever evening, it makes things a lot more just palatable. You know what I mean? It's like you're not trying to eat the whole elephant in one bite and solve all your panic disorder. You're like, I just have to make it through now, and that's all that matters. And it helps. So, and that's part of like the neuroplasticity side of it is it's like your brain will retrain itself the more reps you get in of like how to pull out of the panic attacks. Because that's how you get into panic disorder is you create a neural pathway of going right into panic and getting this adrenaline that you just don't need, So yeah, that's why I'm taking a lot of deep breaths right now. And Kava.
Shout out Kava.
Shout out to Kava. Sprouts Kava. This was $24. Highly recommend it.
How long will one of those tinctures last you?
So,
and how long you've been doing that?
I've been doing it just for the last week, and it's really helped a ton. Like we were just talking about, I was nervous doing this and coming up a flight of stairs and having to dip in before like a moron.
Is that a habit? You can't kick the dip, even though no. It's a vasoconstrictor, and so it's going to affect your breathing. And the guy who was on yesterday, and you said you listened to a little bit of it.
Yeah.
I didn't get to say this, but I told him after. One thing that having anxiety and ADHD, it's a superpower, but it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, I heard that part, yeah.
Did I say that on there? I can't remember.
He was talking about it, I think, a little bit, yeah.
It's this thing where, and people don't fucking believe me, but I swear to God, supplements that I take, I know they're working.
Yeah.
I can feel them working, and people are like, oh, no, dude. I swear to God, it's because, though, I have such a heightened sense of my body that I can even feel a Tylenol working, and I have a history of, and I probably shouldn't say this, but I have a history of where I've used opiates a little too much, and prior to any job that I've ever had. And so it's like, I know what I know what that feels like, and I know that my receptors, they're weakened because of misuse of those items.
Yeah.
And I still can feel a Tylenol working. I can feel an ibuprofen working, and it's because I'm so in tune with my body.
Yeah, you become hyper aware, and that's how I am. Like, right now, I'm just like, all right, how's my pulse? It's a little fast, but not terrible as it was when I first came in. But that's what's so annoying is that hypervigilance of your body. If I feel anything, I'm like, oh my God, it's a stroke, or whatever. So,
Yeah.
It's horrible.
I know, dude. It's the fucking worst.
But I did stop for like a super long time, but I was goose hunting, and these guys all had freaking lippers in, and I was like, hey man, let me get a pinch of that. And it was like Copenhagen straight, and I was just like, I want some wintergreen.
How long did you dip before you quit for a little while?
Like 10 years.
Okay, so maybe it doesn't affect you, but like for me, I'll take breaks a lot. I'll use
Yeah.
the nicotine packets sometimes, but I'll take like pretty lengthy breaks, several months off. But when I take them again, I feel so short of breath.
Yeah, like right now, that's how I'm like,
Yeah.
and the lights and the.
Well,
I'm always hot.
I guess my question is, if I knew that, I know that's what it's gonna do, but I'm past. Not the worst of my anxiety, knock on wood, but I'm past having panic because I know what it is now, and I've had every exam on the planet to tell me that my heart, my lungs, everything's fine.
Yeah.
My brain's fine, but, well, it's not fine, but physically. So do you not feel like that's something you want to commit to is...
To get away from it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, I'm just going to have it for like, I'm going to get a can. And it's turned into like 5, I think. And it's starting to make me feel like crap like yesterday and today because I was just kept on throwing them in. I'm just like, oh, just... I love it, dude. It's so good, but it's so bad. Because right now I feel like shit.
Yeah, and
Like,
I kind of feel like...
maybe don't be an idiot.
Well, no, not even that. But I was going to say that when it's not even fun if you don't use it regularly.
Yeah.
Regularly.
Yeah.
It's not fun because sometimes I'll get down to where I haven't used, but I'll keep a can and I'll be like, well, let me reward myself this morning. And then it hits me so much harder, which is worse than if I was using a can a day.
Mm-hmm. I know.
You might need to throw that shit out.
I might need to do another couple more of these. Let's do it again.
Do a little kava. Okay, so Drew Figlo, the reason we brought you here primarily was because you are truly a servant of God, especially with what you've done with the Headquarters Foundation, which we'll get into, but we need to go back and talk about what reconnected us. So first off, I think that everyone should know that we met at the greatest EMS company in the world.
A to the M to the R, baby.
Yeah, boy. So I met you at AMR, and I can't believe you still talk to me since you knew me back then, which is hilarious.
Well, you were on nights, and I'd only see you and frickin' Will.
Yeah, Bill.
Billy Boom Bots. And it's like shift change and stuff like that. And then I just saw you on social media the last 10 years. I'm like, this guy is the most interesting man alive. Like cage fighting and poker and just like, it was nuts.
I'm like, people always say you're a jack of all trades, and I'm like a John of all trades. I'm like not good at anything, but I'll do fucking everything.
I'm kind of the same way, but it's more from like my ADHD. I just get into everything and get hyper focused.
Yeah, well, my problem is I don't do the work a lot. So, because I count on my ambition to take me farther than it usually can. And I'm capable. I have seen what I can do if I'm really invested into something, but I don't know. I don't like to read the instructions. Like if I get something from Amazon, I'm not reading the instructions. I'm assembling it wrong 7 times before I open the instruction manual.
Yeah, but you learn with age.
Yeah, that's true.
I got 10 years on you, right? What are you, 31, 32?
Unfortunately, yeah.
42.
Yeah, you look much better than me, though.
What? No.
Must be all the fucking kava.
Yeah.
So, you go from AMR. Tell me before, dude, because you kind of got, I'm sorry to say this, but a late start in EMS.
Oh, yeah,
like
man.
with your age.
Yeah.
Like most people working at AMR are younger EMTs that are just getting into the field.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to pick on that job, but it's not generally seen as a career because of it doesn't have a defined pension. It doesn't have great benefits.
Yeah.
It's incredible experience, and I've learned that I'm so thankful for my time there because the clinicians there want to work on the ambulance. So even these bigger departments that have funding, money, and resources, dude, they barely compare. And that's not, it's a different thing. It's a different ball game. But what did you do before you came to EMS, and why did you decide to start kind of in the middle of your life to make that switch?
Well, I literally got into EMS because I had my first kid. I was trying to start a food truck with a buddy because I'd cooked for years. Um, but I moved to Kansas City to be a worship leader. That's a whole other story. Um, and so I was about to have a kid, and my wife literally was like, "Why don't you be a paramedic or a fireman?" And I like watched some YouTube and some Rescue Me, and I was like, "Okay." So dumb. So I was like, all right, I'll do EMT school first and like see what happens. Cause I kind of felt like if you're going to be a fireman, you should know that that's your calling. And I never felt like I was one of those guys. But when I looked at it, I was like, yeah, this is it's a little bit of everything. I'm like, I can cook. I know a little bit of construction. I'm like, I think this could be cool. I wanted to help people. I thought about being a nurse when like my grandmother was in a nursing home and I saw how crappy it was. So I kind of had that, might do something like that, but I don't want to be a nurse. So yeah, I did EMT school, and
Did you do that here?
yeah,
Where'd you move from?
Jersey, baby.
New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, let's hear the accent.
Nah, it'll come out. You'll hear it in certain words. People are like, what? Why does he talk so funny? So if you are wondering why I talk like an idiot, it's because I'm from Jersey. So
Jersey's cool.
yeah.
So you moved here from Jersey to start the food truck? No, you moved for the worship?
Yeah, like I had one of the craziest encounters with God that I ever had in my life. And then this family paid for me to come out here like a month later because there was like a music focused like Bible school. Everybody in the House of Prayer out here, International House of Prayer, old IHOP, which has a huge scandal right now because apparently the frickin' pastor was sleeping with like young broads, which is... Anyways, but I had a great experience there because in that time, like I literally just like read my Bible and prayed and fasted and like just learned how to love and got extremely humbled. I didn't work for a year and was just poor and watched God provide for me. And I just like played guitar and did some ministry trips and just like read my Bible and fasted and prayed. So,
sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, what was your position going to be when you moved here? You were going to be playing music? Or?
So, yeah, I was going to go to the school, and I was just, like, on this vision quest, dude, because I had, like, such a radical...
You kind of told me about it. Do you mind sharing?
I mean, I grew up in Jersey, a freaking maniac. In high school, I was, like, smoking weed and, like, eating E-pills and going to the city and clubbing it up. And to make a long story really short, my life was jacked up from just family life and a whole bunch of other crap like every other story you've heard. But I was fighting with my girlfriend for the, 1,000th time, and I just like tried to jump out of her car down the road. And she's like, "Oh my God!" Like grabs me or whatever, just being super dramatic guinea from, my emotions. And I just said, take me to church. It was like 11 o'clock at night. And we pull into the parking lot of this like Roman Catholic church. And I just like get out of the car and collapse in the front yard of the church and just said, God, if you're fucking real, show me. And after that point, like all this stuff started to happen, like crazy coincidences. And I was kind of like searching already. For some reason, I was like drawn to Barnes and Noble. Like, I didn't read, dude. I did not read. I smoked weed, right? Did not read. And I was like going to Barnes and Noble, and I was like drawn to like the spirituality section. I got a book on the Dalai Lama called Ethics for the New Millennium. And I read that, and I was like, I'm like, it's kind of there, but something's not right, And then I started like reading my Bible. My grandfather gave me this camo Bible from like that he got in the Navy. And like even that situation, like I started in the book of Leviticus, and like the first thing I ever read in the Bible was like the cleansing ritual for a woman when she has her period, just like sacrifice pigeons. I was like, what the hell? But then after that, I ended up reading the book of Job. And I don't know if you know the book of Job.
I do not.
So the book of Job is it's said that it's the oldest book in the Bible. But it's not like the first book of the Bible, like Genesis. It's like it's in there a little bit. So Job was a dude that was like super righteous and rich and had a bunch of kids and stuff. And anyway, the scene is like the devil and God are having this like the devil is talking about Job is like he's only worships you because you hooked him up, and the devil's like or God's like, okay, you can you can test him, but don't touch his body. Well, then Job's all of his kids die. Like these raiders come in and like kill all his cattle. Like all this horrible stuff happens, and Job doesn't curse God. So then like the devil and God have another thing again where he's like, yeah, well, he'll surely curse you if you do this. And he's like, all right, you can touch his body. So then Job breaks out in like frickin' like like psoriasis, but like boils and all over his body. And he doesn't curse God. And then in the end of the story is basically that like God blesses him with like twice as much as what he had before. He had like more land, more cattle because he didn't curse God. But there's this whole part in the Bible of that story where God's like talking smack to Job, and he's just like, were you there when I formed the heavens? Were you there when I set the boundaries of the sea? Yeah, I didn't think so, bro. You don't like know who I am. But you got to read it. It's great. So I read that story and I was like, oh, okay. I get this Bible thing. It wasn't like the Gospels where you like hear about Christ or whatever. But then after that, at that time, the Passion of the Christ was like coming out. It's like 2005 or something. And I saw that, dude. Have you seen it?
I've seen the Passion of the Christ. It's been a long time.
So when he like they're flogging him, right, and they're like whipping the hell out of him, and flesh is getting ripped off, and then they make him carry the cross. I just broke, like crying my eyes out at like it was an 11 o'clock showing. I'll never forget it in Maplewood, New Jersey. And I was just, and people are in there like sobbing. I'm like, oh my God, like this is insane. Like, and I grew up knowing about Jesus because I was a guinea from Jersey going to, Catholic mass my whole life, on and off. But, so yeah, then after that, just like these crazy like coincidences would happen. But I started to go to church on my own, and then, but my life actually got worse. Like when I found Jesus, like I got fired from my job. I'd then moved in with my parents. I was like a janitor at my church, making like $200 a week. Just lost my girlfriend that I was like, this is all right. I'm gonna stop screwing around. I love her. I'm gonna marry her or whatever. She like freaking bolts. It was awful, but at the same time, I was like just learning, deeper things about the Lord, and fasting was one of the things that really unlocked a lot of stuff spiritually. And I attribute that, like how I explain that to people is like, you want to get jacked, so you have the flesh and the spirit, right? If you want to get the flesh strong, what do you got to do? Like eat a ton, and it's so hard to put on mass, right? This is my opinion. But for some reason, when you deny the flesh and you fast, it strengthens your spirit. So what do I mean by that? It's like,
will you slide your water bottle? Everything else is fine. I just want to make sure the camera gets you, dude. Because you got big biceps. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead. You were talking about the flesh.
You're so swole. So the flesh, right? So when you fast, it like I'd have like prophetic dreams, or just like kind of feel things off of people and just like kind of know what's going on. Like I'm already kind of an empath, but it like you're just hyper aware. You can like feel darkness in places. Like I remember one time I was like on a 40-day fast. It wasn't just water, but I was trying. It was like what they call a Daniel fast, where you like just eat vegetables or like once a day. So it's like no meats or sweets is like a Daniel fast kind of. And I went to like they're all eating burgers at this bar down in South Kansas City. And I just went there, and when I walked into the bar, it was like, I call it soul traffic. I just could feel like the liquor, just people, and I was just kind of like, it was almost like I was like on like microdosing like shrooms or something. I'm just like, oh my God, I could feel all the ick in here because my spirit was just like, so. But yeah, like I just started having crazy ass encounters, man. Like, and this is all stuff that I didn't necessarily believe in. And I understand that it sounds crazy. I also know that like my belief system as a Christian is absolutely insane. You believe that a guy who died 2,000 years ago rose from the dead and is going to come back eventually and establish his government on the earth? That's insane. But when you encounter that guy, it's like, oh yeah, that's 100% true. It is the truth. But it's not. I understand that it's nuts. To a rational mind, it is nuts. But the foolishness of God is stronger than the wisdom of man. It's supposed to be a stumbling block. It takes humility to accept that, like a child, and like almost like believing in Santa Claus, which it's not like that, but to believe such a thing. But I believe you have to encounter God. You can't just do it in your head, because it's a person, it's a relationship. And when you experience the presence of God, it's just undeniable. And usually it's just him going like, I love you. And you just die. You just weep. And it's insane. It's insane. But I can go on for a long time with that stuff, but
so you were raised what type of? You said you went to some Catholic churches.
Yeah,
in
Roman
Jersey?
Catholic. I used to go with my grandmother. She was a Eucharistic minister at the Catholic Church.
Because you said that when you tried to jump out of your girlfriend's car, you.
Oh yeah, that.
Yeah, you. You asked her to take you to a church, but then you said it sounds like maybe a year or so later, when you're in Kansas City, you're still having doubts about your relationship with God, and you're still having doubts about your belief system.
No.
But you knew back then to take you to the church.
Yeah.
So,
no, I definitely, like, after that, there were so many things that happened, like, afterwards that was just undeniable. That the whole Jesus thing was it. Like, I felt like I asked God to show me who he was, and he's like, literally, it was just this simple. Like, if you want to know me, look at Jesus. And I was like, what? And I always thought that, like, Jesus people are just, like, super cringy and weird. And I was like, that's not me, bro. Like, I worked with a bunch of guineas at a pizzeria from the time I was 14. And then I was clubbing in New York and, that whole scene, big egos and all that garbage. But yeah, just, it was undeniable. It was absolutely undeniable. Dude, I'll tell you a fun story. You'll like this. So, like, I just start going to church, and I'm in Jersey, right? It's right before I, like, get fired, and I'm living with two dudes, and we would just, like, rip bong hits constantly and whatever. And I'm up in my room, and I'm, like, trying to read my Bible and, like, not go do bong hits with my roommate, Joey Casera. We called him Joey Bag of Donuts. And, and Joe's downstairs in the, he's like, Drew, come do bong hits with me. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. And this was the first time I the Holy Spirit, or like hearing God. I didn't hear it audibly, but I swear to God, I even know where I was standing in the room. Like, it was at the window in front of this crappy, tiny flat screen TV that I had. And I heard, not in my head, but like in my chest or being, stop walking in the darkness and step into the light. And I was like, what the hell was that? Like, I knew it wasn't my head. It was different. And it was audible, but not, bro. But now, like, that's my day-to-day with everything. Not that abrupt, but it's like I rely on the Holy Spirit. Like, that's my helper. So I'll give you another cool story of, like, the voice of God like that. And it has to do with, like, the anxiety and PTSD. So my first code at AMR was a 2-year-old that drowned. Messed me up. I was a new dad. I had a 6-month-old. And, we're working her outside the pool.
And I'm assuming the code is a cardiac arrest.
Yeah.
So they don't have a pulse. They're not breathing.
She's dead.
Yep.
So the mom is above me on a deck just screaming, and I'm like, just don't watch us, like, we're putting in an IO, like, doing all this crap to her or whatever. And It was horrible. So that was the beginning of my PTSD because I just became so hyper vigilant and became a monster at home, like to my wife and everything, right? So long story short, fast forward a couple years later, I'm at church. It's the beginning of service, and like, music's going to start and worship and stuff. And I'm sitting there and I like hear the Lord like again, like, hey, we're going to talk about River today. Like we're going to deal with River. That was her name. And I was like, okay. And then my pastor just happens to come up to me and he's like, hey, I want you to come up and talk about your job as a firefighter and how you see God in your job.
And this passage that he's going to read about River or talk about, that was the name of the child?
No, so yes, the name of the child was River. But I hear, so like going back to, you remember like in Valiant we talk about schema shifts, right? Well, one of the names of the Holy Spirit, and we talked about this when we talked a couple months ago, was Wonderful Counselor, right? Or the Lord is the Wonderful Counselor. And I'm sitting there and I just hear, she's not drowning anymore. She's with me. She's been with me since that day. I didn't realize in my head that in my mind she was still in the pool and I had to get her out. Subconsciously, she was this 2-year-old girl was drowning still and struggling in the pool. And because, what's the Bible verse say? The truth will set you free. Well, the truth was she's not in the pool anymore. She is with me because she's a child. The Lord loves children. She's 100% there with him. And it literally, like, all that crap broke off. Like, specifically from that call. Like, obviously, I still deal with the panic disorder from just nervous system stuff and more years of service. But that moment, it was unbelievable, dude. I was just like, oh, my God, you're right. Then I go up and I talk about my job. And this church is just, I'm like, yeah. And I start talking about working a code on a 2-year-old. And one of the things the Lord taught me was, he's like, Drew, you have to understand that. Because in the Bible it says all things work for good for those who love God and are called according to his purposes, right? And how could it be that it works for good that a 2-year-old drowns and this family has to suffer, right? Or I have to experience that as well and become a monster because of it. And I hear the Lord too, he's like, somebody's praying for a 2-year-old liver. Somebody's praying for a 2-year-old heart. How's that going to happen? So there is good in it. It's horrible, but she was an organ donor.
So the church brings you up to talk about this, and I'm so sorry, maybe I missed it. They said to you, today we're going to talk about River.
No, that was what I heard from the Lord.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm like,
okay.
this. I was kind of giving the example of like how I heard like, hey, stop walking in the darkness, step into the light. Another time had to do with PTSD. I was like, hey, let's kind of bring this.
So you go to church and you intrinsically hear this message
I'm like,
from God.
during the music, yeah.
And then you had no idea you'd be speaking today.
Yeah.
And the pastor, is that what you got at your church? The pastor comes up and tells you to share your story. And you knew, I guess, immediately? Or had he... how did you know that was the story you were going to share? Out of the obvious that you probably were like, well, I'm going to share about this, but...
It's just that's just kind of how I'm wired, is like, I just have this moment with the Lord is like, yeah, I'm going to give you some real talk right now because I already had that stance about the fire service in general that nobody knows what the hell we do. They don't. They think that it's like TV, but they don't understand like the real day to day. Like I didn't even realize what we actually did until like I was in fire academy and like got into it of what it really looks like to be a fireman. It's not guts and glory, at least not in Lee Summit for sure. I mean, Kansas City in the hood, you're going to run mad fire, but even still, if you're at a busy station, there's going to be a ton of BS you're going to run too to catch all that fire. But
so then you deliver this message and you tell the church about your experience with this call.
Yeah. And I just tell them about that. And like, my pastor afterwards was like, I didn't know you were going to go there and talk about death. And I was like, hey man, like you asked for it. Like, You put a fireman up there with freaking PTSD. Like, what do you think?
Do you feel like you told that story with a chip on your shoulder at all at that time?
No.
Or was it completely informational?
It wasn't.
And what was the reception from the other people?
People came afterwards. I get down and like all these people start praying for me and stuff, and I'm like weeping and all, like basically almost like going through inner healing, like right there, and just kind of just getting ministered to, man. And that's what, we need people. And that's one thing I've learned with, things that work in psychology. A lot of it's really biblical and very simple. You need community, right? You need to take one day at a time, which that's Jesus specifically said that. It's like each day's worry is sufficient for itself. Do not worry about tomorrow, for today is all you have. You have no idea what's going to happen. These are all things you learn, in psychology or in therapy, and they work. Granted, they have all the neuroscience and stuff too, but a lot of the stuff that works is very practical. Like so.
So you're raised somewhat Roman Catholic because of your grandmother.
Yeah.
You dive into the literature. You have some unexplainable events. You know it's God speaking to you. How do you transition to where you're at now, and what type of ideology do you follow currently? And you don't have to go into everything, but like, what was the journey? I mean, did you search for a while to know what type of church I need to be in?
Well, church per se didn't really work out. I knew, like, one, Jesus. Well, where's Jesus in the Bible? We have 4 stories in the Bible about Jesus, and we talked about this, that in Hebrew, if you hear a word twice in Hebrew, it means extreme emphasis. So, like, sometimes Jesus says, like, truly, truly, I say unto you, which means, like, hey, pay attention to what I'm going to say next. Well, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John are the same exact story, a little bit different with different details in it, but, the last 3 years, basically, birth with like a huge gap, and then the last 3 years of his life. I mean, what other book is like that? Why would you have the same story 4 times? Maybe it's because pay attention to this, dude. And so I have a patient right now who's a Christian, and he has like issues with like translations of the Bible and stuff like that. And I'm like, hey man, at the end of the day, what's there? There's enough there where you know what needs to be done, like how you're supposed to live and what Jesus tells you to do. And even throughout the Bible, like the rest of the New Testament is like the Apostle Paul talking about, he says, I preach Christ and Christ crucified, period. You can go nuts into all different types of studies and this, that, and the other thing, but the cross is something that every single person can understand the story, almost every single person. So there's enough there to challenge you in a way that it requires a response. You're either going to go one way or the other with it, man. And it is, black or white, left or right, heaven or hell. It really is. And people are like, well, if loving God, how does a loving God, how does he have hell if he's so loving? Well, hell is the absence of God. It's like you didn't want him. So if you didn't want him, he's like, okay, well, this is where I'm not like abiding. This is what it's like. Darkness, hell, fear, anxiety, terror, torture. Because I'm not there. It's darkness. I am light. This is darkness. So it's not God just like smiting people and punishing them. He's like, I gave you an opportunity to have reconciliation and relationship with me. Like, what the hell do you think you know, oh man, alive for 30, 40 years before a being that is outside of time? There are things greater than us that we don't understand, man. And everybody knows about it. We hear all these different, like, Joe Rogan podcasts and all this other stuff, and, like, there's something bigger and this, that, and the other thing, and I was listening to your other episode of the podcast, and that guy was talking about he knows that we're part of something bigger. Yeah. You and I, as 2 men, are created in the image of God, and here in this world, every like, being in hell wants you to think you're a piece of shit. but you have 10 fingers and 10 toes, like that, in the same way that Jesus, who is God and love manifest in the flesh, has. You are in the image of God. That's insane. No other being in all of creation and every realm can say that. That's the truth and just the beginnings of the depths of what it means to follow the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We are so unbelievably precious, and we have no idea. And the entire world pushes you in the opposite direction to make you feel like you're worthless and that you're ugly. Dude, people talk, it's a miracle that you and I exist just because of that one sperm from our old man just made us. Like the mathematical probability of us existing is already insane that we get to experience all this. Like I'm listening to that podcast, this guy's talking about mushrooms and that's great. I think that stuff works, But dude, life sober is the craziest trip ever. You're floating on a rock at like 60,000 miles an hour through an infinite vacuum. What?
With no real explanation.
Yeah. And you're here for such a short time in this vessel, which is insane. And you'll see that as you get older, it started in my 40s. It's like when your flesh starts to fail and you lose that vitality, that invincibility.
I don't want to hear this.
Well, it's wisdom, my man.
Go for it.
You start to realize, like, oh. And especially us, we see death all the time. It could happen at any moment. This energy goes on. Energy can be neither created nor destroyed. I believe it's going somewhere, man. And what do I know? I'm just a guinea from Jersey who's freaking hopped up on kava and Copenhagen. Hey, this is bad for you? Yeah, I'm telling you how to live your life, and I'm freaking doing freaking lines of Copenhagen.
Jesus and Copenhagen.
Yeah.
So, I'm asking pretty much for myself. What church do you go to? Even if you don't want to drop the name, but like what?
I'll tell you straight up, bro.
Yeah, what church and why? I've talked to you about this, and that's kind of once I decided. I was raised Catholic.
Yeah.
I went to private school for quite some time. My brother went a little bit longer than I did, and I don't blame my parents for my disassociation and my path away from God, and I don't think that they could have done anything differently. It's just my parents are pretty old school, and they never sat down and talked to me about it. This was how it was. And now to find myself with like a new revelation that I use wasted as just the term that comes to my mind, because I know it's not wasted time, but like I've wasted so much time being a non-believer. I've wasted so much time not invested into this journey, and to come back to it now, having the practical steps to continue forward is where I struggle.
Okay.
So what that is, I want to pick your brain for how you decided, okay, this is where I need to go. This is where I need to worship.
So where I'm at with my walk now is going to a normal church in the Midwest I've heard it, man. Like when I came and I did Bible school, it's like I did so much church in that like year. We went to church like 3 times a day. I was in the prayer room. I had to do at least, 24 hours a week. Everything was just God, And I got burnt out on church. Now, my wife and I didn't go to church for years when we had kids because it was just such a pain in the ass to take 2 little kids to church. And we're like, losing our mind on the way there. So we didn't go for a while. But then I was like, oh, man. It's up to me to like lead my family because it is the man's job. And like all these other podcasts where people are talking about like how we need true masculinity and what does that look like, and that's a problem with the world. Like we know statistically the what happens with fatherlessness. It's because the man isn't in his role. There is chain of command in this crazy experience we call life: God, man, woman, family. But it doesn't mean the woman is like lesser or anything, because both parties are supposed to be serving each other equally anyways. So get churched out. I'm digressing a lot. Part of my ADHD. So the only reason I started going to Abundant Life and Lee Summit, and Abundant Life was everything that I hated about church. It was too big. It was super cringy. But the pastor was solid as a rock. The pastor is Pastor Phil, and he worked for Kansas City PD on the SWAT team for like 8 years and became pastor. He gets it. He's just a solid dude, man. I got to talk with him like a month ago, like one-on-one. Like I wanted to talk to him about like our 2 guys that committed suicide, and like just how I'm like, hey, I've been a real piece of shit since I became a first responder. That was the hardest part of like, I knew all this stuff. My heart got tender with the Lord. And then I go into the fire service and I go completely in the other direction, just become totally worldly. And I'm like, laughing at the butthole jokes. And I mean, that's what happens, man. Like there's such crude humor in the firehouse. I mean, I would get like porn shoved in my face, just like, hey, check this like crazy stuff. I'm like, oh my God. And eventually we're all a byproduct of our environment. You just start to become a dipshit, And so I'm talking to him about all that or whatever. And I'm telling him what I'm doing with my life and all the things, the steps that I'm taking. And he's like, everything that you're saying that you are doing are things that I would suggest you to do. So when I started going back, we started going to Abundant Life like a little over a year ago. I was like, because my wife wanted to go, I was like, Claire, I hate this place. And we stopped going. I'm like, the only person who wants to go here is you. The kids hated it. But then this past summer, I felt like I was supposed to go back. And that's how you kind of know it's the Lord too sometimes, is it's like, it's not your will. It's like not what you want. And I started going, and the first few sermons and stuff were just like on point. And I was just like, oh, it's actually pretty good. Like it was just deeper, had a little bit more fire in it. Yeah. But it was balanced and it was orderly, because God is a God of balance and order. And I came from like some pretty crazy charismatic churches, like while I was in Kansas City and that whole season, like just seeing some kooky stuff that is just, it doesn't, I don't know. It's just really kooky. And God is a God of order. But then one of the days in there, he was talking about this 12-step program that they have called a Regen. And I felt like the Lord was like, hey, bro, you need to do this. And I was like, a 12-step? Like, I know everything they're going to say here. Everything. Long story short, I started going the last few months, and it's been like unbelievable. It's weird when like God is right, and it's nothing mind-blowing, man. It's just,
you say 12-step, I'm thinking alcohol. Is it for addiction?
It's for like everything.
Yeah,
it's like addiction, inner healing, like trauma, all of it. But the reason why I believe it works is because it requires humility to realize, like, yeah, I need this. And it wasn't just for like alcohol. And my relationship with alcohol, like I go months without drinking. But when I do drink, it makes me have more heart palpitations and more anxiety, and it's just not, I need to stop. Like it's just like the chew and stuff too. Like,
you feel like the day after's worse?
Oh my God.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
Whiskey especially, because that's my, Jameson is I was on the Buffalo Trace for a little bit because it was $20-something at Costco. But normally I just drink Jameson. I love it. But it's horrible afterwards.
I'm kind of sad because I'm listening to you and I realize that maybe you're not over the hump like I was, because I went through all these symptoms where I was fine if I was working out. I was fine if I was drinking, but then the next day I couldn't breathe. I had severe dyspnea to the point where I thought I was dying. I went to every fucking hospital. Yep. This was probably in 2018.
Yeah.
And but I can enjoy all those things now if I wanted, but I've chosen not to for several months now.
Yeah.
And I don't, it's not like a discipline or I'm a better than you thing. It's truly like I have no urge to be out of my
Yeah.
own consciousness.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I have the time, but
Yeah.
but I guess I want to like segue into how similar our situations were
Yeah.
and what that anxiety did to your life.
Yeah.
Because dude, when I heard that somebody recommended that you get a fucking ablation,
Yeah.
dude, I freaked out.
Really?
I freaked out.
Yeah.
Because I knew from what I saw, because you make very long post, videos. So
Yeah.
I was able to have a dive into your life.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were. And since our situations were so similar, I knew you didn't need an ablation.
Yeah.
I go, this is anxiety more than likely.
Yeah.
Usually when you get an ablation, I've never heard of anyone, and I know a couple young people that have gotten them,
Yeah.
and it's never like we can try this. They can physically see the problem
Yeah.
of why you'd need the ablation.
Yeah.
So take me back to you get into EMS and you start working because you watched something online or you had a conversation.
Well, no, because I was having I had my baby, and like I was just like slinging meat on this food cart I built, and I needed something with like big boy benefits and a job, and it just was like you can go to EMT school and fire academy and be done in like a semester and like get a job. And I was lucky. I worked at AMR for 9 months and then got hired on at Lee Summit like without being a medic. It was.
So
yeah.
were you anxiety free prior
Oh,
to?
yeah.
Okay, that's what so you're anxiety free, and then you start working in EMS.
Yep.
So you were at the ambulance for 9 months at AMR.
At AMR. Then all the panic attacks started, I think, 3 years in. And how they all started was I was training for a half marathon. Remember when I told you about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was training for the half marathon, but it was supposed to be on September 11th, so I had to train through the summer. I had a lawn business at the time on my days off, and I ended up like for a month just not sticking to my program I had. And then I was like, I talked everybody into doing this, like as two other dudes, my captain, included.
So you're already working at Lee Summit.
I'm working at least I'm like 3-4 years in or something like that.
So the duration at AMR, you, at least to your knowledge, you never put your finger on this is anxiety or
never
PTSD.
even had it.
Okay, I'm tracking.
Yep, and even my first week, like I could do I was fine. I because of the ADHD, I was actually like, the drop down boxes would just like pop up in my brain. I need this, like everything, and I just felt I was made for it. I loved it. Didn't care how gnarly it was.
Yep. So you go to Lee Summit. You're
Go
cooking,
to Lee Summit, and
you're doing your thing. You're doing your lawn business.
Doing a lawn business, and I freaking
You take the month off.
Yeah,
you're doing the training.
take the month off. I kind of hop back in, and it's in like August, before September 11th, and I'm on my 10-mile run, which was like the last long run of the program. And I'll never forget it. I was at 9 3/4 miles on a track in South Kansas City, and all of a sudden my heart just went like all freaking nuts. And I was like, what the hell was that? I'm like, I must be dehydrating electrolytes. And I like walk around halfway to the track, like grab my Gatorade. I'm like slamming it, and I'm like, well, I gotta finish. So I like finished the last lap like a moron. And then I couldn't get my heart rate down for like an hour. And I'm right by, what is it? Is it St. Joe, that one that's off of 435?
Yeah.
And like
St.
Holmes
Joe.
or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. And I'm like, do I need to go to the hospital or whatever? So I drive home, and I'm like slamming more Gatorade or whatever. And I don't know what it was, bro, but ever since then, I know what it was. It pushed my nervous system too far, and everything caught up to me because it was like the stress, I definitely had like PTSD symptoms of like hypervigilance. I probably was anxious, but I wasn't having panic attacks. I mean, I was definitely anxious 3 years in. And then I would just like, I'd wake up 20 minutes after falling asleep, and my heart was like I can't breathe and like all dizzy and freaking out, and I would have, or that would just happen out of nowhere. I'm just like sitting here like this, not thinking about anything or whatever, and my heart would just freaking pound through my chest. I get diaphoretic and like nauseous, freaking have to shit. It was horrible, and I went to the ER like 2-3 times because I thought I was dying. And then like ever since, like I couldn't drink coffee anymore. I had to like cut back on dip and back and forth with that because I was an idiot. And it just, what brought everything to a head was like 2 years ago, 4 of my friends died within a year, and my cup was done. And my wife and I got separated after my first friend got killed. And
what you mean by that, and I'm putting words in your mouth, but just from, I know we've probably had similar classes.
Yeah.
It's like you had all these little holes in the bottom of the cup,
mm-hmm.
and finally the base broke,
mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, it was just too much, man.
Yeah.
Too much.
But you had been seen several times before this point. Like you had the run. How many medical evaluations did you get after that run between this and then the suicides that happened?
So that was like 7 years ago was like the run and the panic attack started. And it was just, I would have weird episodes too, like when I was eating. So I thought it was like POTS, you know? I don't know what the hell.
Oh, that's so
Did you have
crazy.
It when you were eating?
Yes.
What the hell is that?
So I had to start eating tiny meals. So I would wake up out of nowhere, and I was completely sober at the time. I think I enjoyed alcohol on the weekends, but outside of that, I was completely sober. And I would wake up, and I was drenched in sweat, and my heart rate was like 120.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, I'm dying.
Yeah.
I'm literally dying. And I went to every ER. I mean, I forced every hospital around the metro assumed I was a crackhead.
I mean, look at the guy.
I mean, yeah. I had a high and tight back then, okay?
Yeah, you were clean.
So
you look great right now, by the way. Your mustache is outstanding. Your hair is what I'm going for. I'm so happy I don't have to get a haircut anymore being out of the fire service.
This is not conducive for anything. But here, you say that fire service thing, that pisses me off because here's the thing. I got a haircut yesterday, 2 days ago. And the lady's asking me what I do. And you've never seen me outside the department with a shirt on. And she's asking me, and she's like, what are you doing? I'm like, fuck, I work for the fire department, you know? And she's like, with hair like this? And I looked at her and I go, well, the women can do it.
Oh.
So at this point, I'm so sick of hearing that now it's just a statement.
Yeah.
I'm just keeping this because if somebody else can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
But this sucks, dude. You don't want to do this. Jiu-jitsu's horrible with it.
Well, that's why I always have my hair short too, because just like putting a helmet on, it was just so much easier when you just also too, like when your hair's real short, you take your helmet off, you like look good standing there. Freaking, you don't look like when my hair is right now. It's like, you know, has that crazy ass
I can
look.
barely get it in the helmet.
Yeah.
So I have to, like, as you're going to something, if I'm going to be masking up, I have to put my hair in a bun on the top of my head.
Yeah.
I mean, hats off to the women that do it.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
But I want the same rights, dude.
Yeah. Just want to make a point.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I had the thing where I would eat, and then that would put me into a panic attack.
What is it?
So what it is, to my conclusion, is that it's simply you can now have the hypervigilance of your stomach working because your heart rate increases when you eat.
Yep. That's my thing. Like coming in here, coming up the flight of stairs, I was like, oh, I know I'm going to be freaking tweaking out. Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with you there's nothing that makes you be in danger.
Yeah.
But when you have those heart rate increases, now you're aware of it when you normally wouldn't be. Yeah. And once you break through and you have that first panic attack, everything is like that from here on out.
Yeah.
And it gets better. Well, at least for me, it got better. Now I can do whatever I want to do.
Yeah.
No problem. But for a very long time, I couldn't eat. I'd wake up. I had to use a weighted blanket just to go to sleep. And then you're not sleeping at all. I used to have a basket of clothes that I didn't wear. And what I would do is I would keep the basket of clothes there, because the only thing, if I would wake up, my heart rate would be 120. I go, fuck, this is it. I'm dying. So I would take that basket of clothes and I would throw it on the bed and I would start folding it. And about halfway through,
redirection,
I would have dissipation of my shortness of breath, and I'd go, okay, I'm fine. If I didn't have the clothes before that, my girlfriend at the time worked nights, so I was always alone. And so I'd wake up 4 or 5 a.m. because I can only get a couple hours of sleep, and I would just go outside and lay in the grass, because I'm like, I don't really want to die, but at least I'll be out here and someone will find me.
Isn't it weird? Like, I've done that to where I was like, this is it. I had it I was elk hunting in Colorado, and I was chasing this herd for like an hour, and I come over this ridge, and I was like, oh, I don't feel so good. Like, I'm at altitude, and I laid down the grass, and I was like starting to panic, and I was debating hitting like my SOS button on my freaking Garmin. Oh, dude. But then I just laid there, and I'm like, I'm sucking on my Camelback because I knew I was super dehydrated, because I think I was drinking Miller High Lifes the night before like a jackass trying to freaking elk hunt. What an idiot. But I laid there, and I remember I was just like, felt like it was Saving Private Ryan, and I'm like staring up at the sun. I'm just like, this is it. I'm like waiting for like my soul to depart. And then I just kind of like sit up, half hour, 45 minutes later, and freaking walk my ass out of the woods. Like, so stupid.
Yeah.
Just waiting to die.
It kind of drove a stake, though, in my relationship with patients, because now I have like this extreme extra bedside manner for people with anxiety.
Oh, yeah.
But then like someone gets shot, and I'm just like, I don't want to say I don't have the compassion. That sounds really ugly, but it's not that. It's just like, for now, my priorities of how I feel, because I guess if I was probably shot, I'd feel different.
Yeah.
But I've never been shot, but I've had a panic attack.
Yeah.
So, other people are sick of this person calling for their 4th panic attack.
Yeah.
And I'm up there and I'm like, yeah, I'll give you whatever you need. But it kind of drove a stake in me, because then I started to realize I never called 911.
Yeah.
I never went to the hospital for so long.
Yeah.
And these people will do it for nothing.
Yeah.
And I just chose death. But I was just going to die, because I'm not calling 911.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, I had to call. I thought for sure it was it one time. It was so bad, and I had to call Casey. I think 42s came out to me, and I was like on the floor. Because a lot of the times I literally felt like I was keeping myself conscious. Like, it was like, I'm holding on to my life right now. And they walked in, and they weren't having it. No, I shouldn't say they weren't rude or anything, but I did the same thing. You're just like, you're probably okay, buddy. And they put me on the monitor, and like everything's starting to like subside, but I still feel like crap because all the adrenaline's coursing through my veins. And then finally, just like every other time, I just kind of pop up. I'm like, I think I'm okay. If anything, I'll drive myself. So embarrassed.
Did you ever buy a pulse oximeter?
Oh, I had one already.
Dude, that was the
I
worst.
use this all the time. Every single day, I'm just like, is this it? Is this it? Oh, no, I'm good. Like, all the time, just checking my pulse.
So when my stuff all came on, I was in the best shape of my life because I was training for that first fight.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'd wake up in the morning, sometimes I'd check my heart rate, and it would be 38. So now I'm like, give me the atropine.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm freaking out.
Really?
And it made it worse. And then I worked at this IV nutrition clinic with this guy from, he worked at Liberty Fire, and he was jacked. Super health freak, dude. And he was telling me that his mom was going through the same thing. And he said something, he goes, and I didn't tell him what I was going through because I didn't want to weird him out. But, he was just telling me that he was up all night, like, consoling his mom. And he goes, man, I told her, I said, throw that shit away. You don't need a fucking pulse oximeter.
Yeah.
And I go, you're right. Because I'm going to die anyway if I'm going to die. Why do I want to know? And I threw it away, and it did help. I threw away the pulse oximeter.
Yeah, you got to, like, turn your body off. But it just it's like I said, everything's just, it's practice. And you got to create that new neural pathway. And that's one thing I've learned through all this, is that the healing process is a long time. That's helped a lot. Realizing that, especially in your 40s, you know, it's a lot. It's going to take a lot longer. Everything takes a lot longer. And I could see, I mean, last summer, beginning of the summer, like I couldn't even drive anywhere. I couldn't work out. I couldn't do anything. And then in the fall, like being in the fall, I could do like a 15-minute workout and then I'd have a panic attack. I mean, 2 days ago, I did an hour workout and I was good. And now all this makes me so much more grateful now. Any moment I feel normal, I'm like, thank you, God. I'm so much more grateful for like everything. Like any moment I have where I could feel normal, because I usually don't.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's only 10%, but sometimes it's like a good 99% I'm freaking geeked, you know?
Okay, so you had the suicides at the fire department.
Mm-hmm.
And then you said you were treating your family pretty horribly.
Mm-hmm.
Is that when everything went into its final spiral?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so how does that lead into them telling you need an ablation?
Well, it was actually, they killed themselves on Father's Day. My ablation was scheduled for like middle of August. So I was on light duty and I was pretty much under, I thought that this was something wrong with my heart, because I had an episode like turkey hunting to where I thought I was going to die. And it wasn't panic. I actually did push myself too hard. Because my like enzymes were high and
Your cardiac enzymes?
yeah.
Oh no.
But it wasn't troponin, it was something else, because I asked them and I was like, they're like, no, it wasn't troponin. It's like, but you're not a spring chicken anymore. And a quick like kind of background to that episode was I had broken my foot, so I was sitting on my ass for like 6 weeks, just like drinking whiskey and smoking a pipe. And then it was like opening day of turkey season, and I hiked like 15 miles in 2 days. And I got on a bird where I was like army crawling freaking in this river bottom and through this freaking patch of timber, and then come up in this cornfield. And I could feel my heart pounding like really good. One, because I'm amped, and then also just because I'm like completely out of shape. And I smoked this bird. And afterwards, and then then it was like 25 pounds. I got my gun. I'm completely out of shape. I got the bird. And then I'm walking through like freshly tilled, like crop soil that was like walking through like deep sand for like, I don't know, I want to say like 300 yards, and then get back to the truck. I was like, I don't feel so good. And I thought I was going to die. We're up in northern Missouri. My buddy's like flying down the road. I'm like fighting to stay conscious. And then I could barely move.
Did you communicate to him? Or did you tend to hold those episodes inside? You're in the truck with him, right?
Oh, yeah.
And you're having this issue where you're fighting to stay conscious.
Yeah.
Did you keep those episodes to yourself? Or did he know what was going on with you?
When you say he, who do you mean?
I thought you said you were in the truck with somebody.
Oh, yeah, my buddy. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Does he know what's going on?
Oh, kind of, but not really. He doesn't have, he was, he's a veteran from the Air Force, but he's my best friend, Brandon. But he knows about my anxiety and all that other stuff. And, so yeah, then that started all these tests, and then I'm on like something. I think I went down in training or something, and I got transported to St. Luke's East, and I couldn't breathe. I'm dizzy, like full on panic attack. And so I think it's like, oh, this episode again, like the running, but with this turkey hunt that went wrong. So yeah, then that ends. I'm on light duty. Those two guys killed themselves Father's Day weekend. Then that started I thought that I was going to catch suicide like coronavirus or something, man. I don't know. It's some psychological phenomenon, but it was the weirdest thing. I thought I was going to like literally accidentally kill myself. And then I got on Lexapro, which it worked for you, did not work for me.
Saved my life.
Yeah, I almost ended my life from Lexapro.
I've heard that happens, but
it brought me too low. And I was on duty when I was like feeling really shitty.
How long had you taken it before you started having the super low feelings on it? Because it took a month and a half for it to basically alleviate all of my symptoms.
Yeah, I think I was at that 6-week mark, and they upped my dosage from 10 to 15. And when I went up to 15, that's when, like, that week I was just like, I don't feel right.
Yeah.
And also, too, like, getting back to the spiritual side of, like, you could feel that darkness was trying to kill me, because, like, I know what I'm capable of. Like, I'm very good at what I do with talking to other first responders about all this shit, because it's truth, man. I really do care. I care about you. I care about you. Like, if you got, because I've felt it. All this suffering made sense. God let me go through 10 years of what the hell am I doing here? Why are you letting me go through this? Why? It was to truly help people that needed help. No more bullshit calls. Every conversation with a first responder or a veteran matters. Every time. Every time. And all I do is I'm just extremely vulnerable. I have my own personal experience, and I'm at the beginning of my education to be a counselor. And I watch these guys just go, I'm not alone. Just like when we talked. Like, I was like, oh my God, you went through the same crap as me. And I knew about panic disorder, but just the fact that, like, we're in the same area and you're the only other person I know, like, within my circle that's had the same crap.
Yeah. I haven't met anybody that's had, people have told me panic and anxiety, and then when they describe it, one thing that's hard with anxiety, and this is kind of part of the thing that a lot of the public doesn't know, is that when you can't pinpoint your symptoms, that's a dead giveaway. There's nothing going on with you that you need emergency services.
Yeah.
Like when you call and they're like, it's like a pressure is air is like a thing is like a, it's good for us because we're like, oh, this person's having anxiety. But now that we've had it, we know that doesn't help to hear. But, sorry, I segued and then lost my train of thought.
Well, we were talking about the suicide transition and what was like, when I ended up getting medically retired for all this crap.
Okay, yeah, so then...
yeah, like, I never thought that I would be a person that was going to deal with suicide in a real way. Like, when you're, like, 17 and, like, your girlfriend breaks up, like, oh, I'm going to kill like, just stupid stuff like that. I mean, every idiot kind of does that. But when it was, like, I was looking at I remember, like, my gun is in a fanny pack, and it was on my couch in my basement. I'm just, like, watching YouTube hunting videos for the 10,000th time, and it felt like, and I know this was demonic, I don't care what anybody says, it felt like it was calling my name, and it literally felt like there was an itch in my head that was to put the gun to my head, and it was like it was going to scratch the itch. That's the best way I could describe of what it felt like. It scared the shit out of me, and I was just like, oh my God, what the hell is this? Like, and I dealt with that for quite a while after. Like, yeah, the Lexapro really made things worse, but it was happening, it took a while to balance back out.
So how quickly did you identify that you needed to come off that Lexapro?
A week into them raising the dosage to the 15 milligrams. I was in my bunk at Station 3, and it was funny because I was all good around people, but then when I got alone, it was just like, just felt like freaking evil was on me. Like, yeah, you should do it, bro. Kill yourself. Fucking kill yourself. It was freaking dark.
That's heavy.
It was dark, man. And that's another thing too I realized with, like, therapy and all this stuff, and, like, wanting to be a therapist, is it's like, these things work. Like, therapy works, but at the end of the day, unless God heals and delivers you, man, you ain't getting all the way better. Like,
what else had you tried prior to the Lexapro? Because we're about to get into the ablation, I assume. What other
The ablation, so
treatments?
yeah, I took Lexapro after the ablation. The ablation happened in August. Lexapro happened, I think, September or early October.
So you're having the symptoms. You've been to some hospitals. You've had these like near syncope episodes.
All this guy in the tachycardia and all that crap.
What? You go to a cardiologist?
Yeah, so I went to multiple cardiologists at St. Luke's East, and they didn't know a damn thing. But it was St. Luke's East, so whatever.
Can you pull that out?
Hey, man, there's good people that work there, but, bro.
There's great people. This is not an official position of the Solve4y podcast.
But it's for Drew Figlo, his official position on St. Luke's East. And most of Lee Summit and the Kansas City Metro.
They referred you then to a different...
So then, no, I just so happened to run into my old captain's wife who works for HCA. And she's like, hey, there's a really great cardiac electrophysiologist that was dealing with guys that were having cardiac symptoms from either COVID or the vaccine. And he was really, really good. So I scheduled that all myself to go get checked out. And I told him everything that was going on. He's like, probably SVT. And, we'll go in and we'll see if we can get you to go into SVT. And if so, we'll give you an ablation. It's like, we're going to go try and figure this out.
So what did they do? Did they give you a chemical stress test, or did they put you on a treadmill?
So I did a regular stress test. Let's get into St. Luke's East, okay? I get a stress test at St. Luke's East, okay? And they email me on like a Friday. They're like, yeah, you were showing elevation or what else what did they say? I think it was just like you had elevation in some of your leads, and I don't know if they said it was like reciprocating or not. They're like, but we'll get back to you and have you like come in or whatever. I was like, wait, I can't remember exactly what it was. Like, what do you mean? Like, do I need to come in? Like, is this bad or whatever? So then that was on a Friday. I call St. Luke's East on frickin' like Monday or Sunday or something. I'm like, hey, you guys are like supposed to get back to me. You said you saw like stuff bad on my stress test. What's up? And then she like, I get put on hold, and then there's like, yeah, you should come into the ER right now. Bro. St. Luke's East, baby.
Oh my god!
And then I freaking I started
you drove
to
to the
drive.
ER?
No, I didn't even make it. Listen. So I'm like, okay, I'm freaking dying. You did it now, Figlo. Like you screwed yourself up. You freaking pushed too hard for that turkey or whatever the hell it was. Like you're gonna die. So now I'm like going into panic. I start to drive. I make it like I'm about to turn on the 435 and 42s is right down the street. It was like, nope. I go to 42s. I'm like, hey, St. Luke's East just told me I got to go in. I got like elevation or something on this stress test. I'm like, I ain't going to make it. I'm freaking the hell out. And they're like, bro, we got you. We'll take you over there. So they took me over to frickin' East. I was like, you look good. I'm like, I'm sorry, man. I'm like, I know. I'm like, I wasn't going to make it. I probably would have passed out because it would have been
yeah.
Like,
well, and you're not safe to drive.
no.
If you're having a real panic attack, I mean, you don't even have your peripheral vision.
No, yeah.
Generally.
Oh, I know that all too well, unfortunately. So then I go in, they give me a nuclear stress test. They say like everything looks good, blah, 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 blah. You're going to follow up with a cardiologist. I talked to another cardiologist like through St. Luke's East or whatever, and it was freaking worthless. Absolutely worthless. I got nothing from them. But in their defense, it's like there wasn't anything wrong with me cardiac-wise. But when you're in that situation, you're struggling with anxiety, you hope that somebody's going to give you some freaking answers. Like you're going to be like, well, why is this happening? How can I be diaphoretic and nauseous and not be able to breathe and have like my blood pressure is through? Something's wrong. Yeah, it's my nervous system. It was panic disorder, but none of them even knew. Like anyways.
So then you see the electrophysiologist.
Electrophysiologist, do all that crap, and I come out of the ablation. He's like, hey, good news. He's like, you didn't need an ablation. I thought going in, I'm like,
You went in for the ablation?
yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So they do the ablation. He tries to get me to go in SVT. Nothing happens. So he's like, yeah, we didn't have to do it. So I come out and I'm like, what? Like, because I'm in, like under anesthesia and I'm all gorked out. And I'm like, and I start just crying because I thought that this is what had been wrong with me the whole time. This is going to fix it. And the doctor just looks at me like I have freaking two heads. And he's like, he walks out and told the nurse, I happen to know the nurse there. And she's like, he goes, that was weird. He goes, I never told somebody that they were okay. And they were upset about it. I'm like, because this doesn't fix anything, bro.
So I guess I'm a little bit ignorant. Do they have to put you into SVT to do the ablation to know where you need the ablation at? Or can you look that up?
No, so what they do is they have this like crazy, like it almost looks like a thermal imaging camera of your heart, and it just shows all the electrical, like every electrical signal in your heart, like in 3D on like a flat screen like this. And they put like, like 12 lead stickers all over you and stuff, and you could see it like before they knock you out. It's pretty rad.
So you're knocked out, and then they try to give you drugs to put you into
SVT, yeah.
Supraventricular tachycardia.
Yeah, buddy.
And they don't get you there.
But I remember my eyes kind of opening in like under anesthesia because I remember all of a sudden
so sweaty.
Really?
Oh my god. What a relief.
Kind of, because then I was like, well, now what do I do?
How long ago was this?
This was 2 summers ago.
Okay, so what's it been like since then?
Horrible up until like since like August. When like I saw how God took care of me with like leaving the fire service and finding a new job that's like I mean, you couldn't have a better job if you're trying to be a trauma therapist and like make a decent living with benefits, like with my pension obviously too. That helps a ton. Excuse me. Because every day with working for ETMS Missouri, it's like, these guys come in and they're dealing with all the same crap as I did, different flavors, but it's all ice cream. Like, and I get to share my personal experience. Like, I pray with these guys. I hit him with the old JC like right away, like because I saw how God came through for me. All this actually renewed my faith in a new way, because I was like, when I was freaking out about how my retirement was going to go through and I had no idea what I was going to do for a job, like I said to myself, I was like, Lord, there's no way that you're not going to help me through this. From what I know of you, there's no way you're not, because you are the only person that knows how I felt during every panic attack. You know what I mean? He knew every moment of fear, every suicidal moment. Like, he was there. You're the only person that knows. You know how hard this has been for me. You're going to help me. And he did. It was unbelievable.
So you went through another 18 months or 16 months of hell, basically.
No, I would say it was... So wait, they committed suicide and then... That wasn't this summer. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it would be that long. Yeah.
And then do you have ETMS done?
Yeah, I've done it 3 times.
So you go in to do it, and was it... What is that process like? I don't know much about it.
So basically you go in... So in the state of Missouri, or with ETMS Missouri, if you're a first responder or a veteran, you get free treatment basically, and your family can too, like your wife and stuff. Your wife is actually considered, or whatever, your spouse, a first responder. So this is like, it costs like, if you were going to pay for it out of pocket, it's thousands of dollars. Oh, there's the ablation.
Catheter ablation for supraventricular tachycardia. The procedure typically includes an electrophysiology study where the medical team attempts to induce or trigger the arrhythmia using electrical stimulation through catheters placed in the heart. This step is standard to confirm the diagnosis, map the abnormal electrical pathways, and precisely target the tissue. Mm-hmm. So it's necessary. Mm-hmm. So at least it wasn't like they did something... Well, that's great.
Yeah.
That gives me a little less anxiety about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was the answer though, and what was funny was so the first guy who passed away, he, I was telling him what I was going through, and he had an ablation, and he thought that that's kind of what I was going through. And I remember thinking for a while, I'm like, maybe that is what it is. And then when I talked to this electrophysiologist or whatever, I got like weird in my head of like finding patterns. I'm like, Gino got an ablation and killed himself.
Oh.
I got an ablation. I'm gonna end up killing myself. Like, we had the same like stupid stuff, bro. I was crazy. We both have dark mustaches. Gino had a dark mustache. I have a dark mustache.
That's anxiety.
Oh my, it's insane.
Yeah.
My brain was broken. Absolutely broken.
Oh my God.
Sorry for breathing in here.
No, you're good. Can you crank my headphone volume while he does that? So, okay, so you feel much better now.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
I do. I mean, I have my moments, but they're way more manageable now.
Yeah. So, tell me then, you have this epiphany to start this 501c
501c3.
501c3.
Yes.
Or is this something you always wanted to do? How early did you decide that you wanted to help veterans with their symptoms of PTSD and do something like this?
So, I mean, I already kind of take people hunting. I know how therapeutic it is. It's also, they tell you to get outside as much as possible, get sunlight. Being in nature is very therapeutic. And there's just something about returning to that element of masculinity, of being able to, it's not the kill. It's like, and especially as a cook, it's like, I just went and procured my own components. And this is organic, fresh, like kick-ass meat that I got. This is awesome. You just feel way more connected to the food and stuff. But
how was that instilled in you? Did you hunt since you were a child?
So my dad, here's some Freudian stuff for you. I hunted with my dad, my grandfather, my uncle. We hunted pheasants in New Jersey. And I loved it. It was freaking great. And when I moved back out here, not back here, but moved here, I was like, well, this has got to be a great place to hunt. And it is. It's the Midwest in Missouri. It's amazing to hunt here. And so I started hunting again like 10 years ago. And I was obsessed. And it's part of the ADHD of just like getting hyper focused on something. But it was also like, that was the only connection, the good connection I had with my dad, because he was drug addict, alcoholic, and just, everything else was so dysfunctional. And just, but that part was, I'm so grateful that he shared that with me. And essentially it was kind of like the Freudian thing is like, yes, I'm obsessed with hunting, but I'm really hunting my dad because it's the only way I can connect. It's like a way I connect with him. But sometimes it's hard too, because I'm just like, man, he died at 59 because he just didn't take care of himself. He never met my wife or kids or anything. And sometimes I sit out there and I'm just like, bro, like, I wish you were freaking here to see this. Like, look where I am. Like, this blows hunting in Jersey out of the water.
Think he is there to see it?
I don't know. I hope so. I will say, though, that because, I'm a believer, and I was like, I don't know if my dad's in heaven or hell or what. He's a pretty bad dude. He kind of knew the Lord. Like, he went to rehab, and he, like, did really good and, like, was, like, memorizing all these Bible verses and stuff and did well, but he ends up relapsing and stuff. And, but I remember at his funeral, he, like, I was the only person to talk. Nobody really had anything good to say about him. But I was just like, I was his son. I was a firstborn son. And the Bible says, honor your father and mother, that it would be well with you. And I went up and just kind of wung it. And I talked about him teaching me how to hunt. I'm like, he wasn't the perfect dad, but, he gave me this, and I'm very grateful for it. And I felt like the Lord was like, because I was wondering, is he in heaven or is he in hell? And I hope this was genuinely like the Lord's voice. It was just like, you don't understand how merciful I am, like how much mercy he actually has. Because I don't, like, only God knows your heart. And that's the thing at the end of the day is like, you can bullshit everybody here all you want. You can fool a lot of people, but at the end of the day, God knows the hairs on your head, dude. He knows your heart, and that's what it's going to come down to. So hopefully my dad's heart was in the right place. But but anyways, going back to like the nonprofit stuff, is it's like I initially started it out to raise money to pay for guys' counseling because it was super simple. I was on light duty for like the heart stuff, and I was like, I need something to do because light duty sucks. I kind of had like BS, paperwork stuff or whatever to do. And I was like, I'm gonna, when I got into therapy, when it really helped me, I learned about panic disorder. My wife found the therapist, and my father-in-law paid for it all, which was insane. Paid for me, my wife, and my kids to like all go to therapy for like a year. It was like $15,000 or something worth of therapy.
Were you covered by your job
for that stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, I probably could have been. I did use some EAP, but then it was just in that situation, it was taken care of, so I didn't really worry about it, But I was like, you know what? That's what I want to do. I'm gonna pay it forward, and so guys don't, because a lot of the best therapists, almost all of them, are all cash. They don't take insurance because of the way the medical system is now, just in general. They screw these people. They make way less money. So unfortunately, you're going to have to pay out of pocket a lot of the times for a good therapist, at least around here. So I started doing that, and then I wanted an aspect of it to have like an outdoor program, but that was kind of like secondary, because I want to have, when we get big enough to have an emergency fund. So like, all right, you're about to eat a bullet because you're overwhelmed with like, you're hurt, you're running out of sick time. What am I going to do? Well, if I die on duty, I get that extra $100,000, for the, like, so probably better off just offing myself. It's like, oh, wait a minute. We're going to pay your mortgage this month and your car payment. Don't eat that bullet. Like that type of stuff, or like whatever. Have that emergency fund there. And then the outdoor part obviously is like just to take people because it's therapeutic. So, but I really focused on that more, and I've just had a lot more luck with that. And what's crazy is I was about to give up on it in like November. Not entirely. I was just like, hey, listen, like I don't care if this is mine, and it says Headquarters Foundation. Like I don't care. I'm like, I just want to do it because there's a lot of stuff for veterans, but there's not a lot of hunting stuff for first responders. Because I was looking for it for myself like a few years ago. And I was like, you know what, then I'll just make it. And obviously we do veterans too, because I have taken veterans out this season. Excuse me. So, yeah, it's been...
How did you initially start to raise funds when you were just trying to
GoFundMe,
cover...
baby.
Yeah, but what did you do? How did you door knock?
I just did social media, making videos like the stuff you saw. And what I found was that just like with ETMS, the vulnerability got the most response. Like not even just for money. It was because here's the thing with what I learned with nonprofits and raising money is that you get 90% of your money from 10% of the people. So you really, a lot of these nonprofits, like they have a few big donors. And that's what happened to me is that a couple like bigger ones, but we're talking like under 10 grand though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nothing crazy, but enough to get started and start, doing stuff or whatever. We had somebody buy us an old boat that I rehabbed to like take people fishing and hunting, like duck hunting and stuff like that.
Oh, that's amazing.
So, but it was like an old crappy boat, and it ended up having to get another. It's a whole long story, but like that boat ended up I got a screaming deal on like a boat, a trailer, and a motor for like $400. Like the motor alone was worth $400. So, but yeah, I was like about to give up. And this is a cool story, was I promised two guys from work that I was going to take them from Lee Summit Fire, take them like on a duck hunt, like a guided duck hunt. And what I did is another thing I did instead of like raising money is I put on like social media like, hey, so I used to cook for an elk hunting guide. I was like, I'll cook for you for your guide service, and for like every day I cook, you take one of my veterans or first responders hunting. And it had a couple guys I was supposed to mess with, and it just didn't work out because like it got busy with hunting season, and like one guy, they had like a new lot. It was just, they had too much on his plate. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to pay for it out of pocket because I had my money from retiring. I got lump sum. Well, part of it was a lump sum. So I booked this hunt for like $1,300 for like 3 guys to go. And bro, the next, not even, it was 18 hours later. One of my bigger donors was like, hey, text me out of nowhere and is like, hey, how do I donate to your nonprofit? Is this the link, right? I'm like, yeah. Don't tell him anything, right? So it was $1,275 that I paid for this thing. And I look to see what he donates, right? I don't tell him what I need at all. He donates $1,300. I start like weeping in the ETMS van. Right? I'm like, oh my God. And my patient at the time was a believer, and he understood all this stuff. And then I was like, bro, that's crazy. I'm like, I just paid $1,275 to, pay for this hunt out of my own money to like honor what I said I was going to do. Because in the Bible, it says like, let your yes be yes and your no be no. And I've been really focusing on that the last year of like, let my yes be yes and my no be no. If I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. And so I text this back to my buddy, and he's like, "That's funny." He goes, "I was going to give you $1,275, but I rounded up to $1,300."
No way. How do you even explain that? There's only one way,
bruh.
Stuff's happened like that to me, So, oh my God. So how many? Did you find any other models that were doing something similar to reach out?
Yeah, so there is another great nonprofit called MoVets that's out of St. Louis, and he works at ETMS Missouri, but on the St. Louis side, and his name is Tony Larson, and I believe he's a Marine. He was a Marine, and he started his in like 2019. After almost eating a bullet himself, like same story almost. And yeah, man, they just built a lodge like this year and like got it's insane.
That's wicked.
Yeah, and they did it with, so like he was telling me too of like that they raised all the money for that between golf tournaments and raffles. Like raffling off guns or whatever. So that's like, I get every like one step at a time. Like that's what I even did. I was like, hey, I need $500 or something for this next hunt. Like, boom. Like by that night, like it's just one. I'm not worrying about like, okay, I need $500,000 to like build a lodge somewhere. It's one hunt at a time. Like it just sounds cheesy. It's like one person at a time, one hunt at a time, and then we take a few guys. But like even stuff like went wrong. Like recently, I did 2 guided goose hunts, and like we killed like 1 goose each time, and but it was actually better that we didn't kill any geese, because we had to spend what we could have limited out by, like if you hunt, you get your limit. We could have been done by 10 o'clock in the morning, or like 11. But instead, like we weathered this snowstorm that came in, and we're like hunkered down in this blind. And in the morning, it was like 55 degrees. And then by the afternoon hunt, it was freaking snowing on us in the 20s. And, it's just like trauma bonding together, just freezing your ass off in this blind. And it was exactly what I wanted. I'm sitting in between 2 Marines sharing war stories the whole time. Like, and I'm just sitting there just like, I did it. This was an idea. I did it. This is exactly what I wanted.
That must have felt so good.
Oh, bro. And the other one too, when I brought him, like I was weeping on the way to the hunt in the morning. I was like, I'm freaking doing it. It was like the first guided hunt. It was. I'm like, I can't believe this was just an idea, and I was gonna kill myself, and now I'm doing like guided hunts for like first responders on this one. Now the next one's a veteran, and like So we end up like not killing those birds on like one hunt. Then the guy's like, hey, we're going to give you half price on the next one. Go on the next one. Same thing. Like only killed one bird, but we all get to hang out for longer. And then the guy's like, hey, I'm going to give you a 6-man guided hunt. It's like it's like $1,500, right? For geese. Without tip. I guess I got to tip him. He's like, hey, I'm just going to give it to you. And I have a 6-man hunt on the 18th where I have a Navy SEAL, a chief of police, Army vet, and firefighter as well, another cop, and a vet and cop as well.
Do you have to be proactive to find the people to come on the hunt, or do you have a slew of? Okay, I figured as much. It's gonna be.
You'd be surprised. Like you'd think like people would want to just. I mean, like me, but the thing is like. A lot of these hunts, especially recently, they just they popped up, and I'm just like, all right, I'm putting it together, and it's like either the first two were just like a week out, but this one was nice. It was like the 6-man one. I had like literally 18 days because it happened right around New Year's. I think we were hunting. Yeah, like New Year's. It was a New Year's Eve hunt. Yeah, and these guys are great. State Line Outfitters. Really great dudes.
Shout out
to State Line Outfitters. And then I just emailed Dive Bomb, which is a company that does like decoys and duck hunting stuff or whatever. And I was like, hey, I'm taking these guys on a hunt, give them like a brief description. But I'm just like, hey, I'm a small operation. This was an idea, like just not trying to sound like I'm bullshitting them with some, like I'm bigger than I am. I'm like, this is what's happening. If you guys would like to partner with us to just give these guys a little swag or something, it'd be much appreciated. They sent us like almost $500 worth of stuff, like hats and ammo bags. And then I emailed this other call company, and I think they're going to send us like 6 goose calls. And that's like almost 1,000. These are like really like $168 a piece. And they're like, we love what you're doing. Yeah, we'll totally send you some stuff. And I was like, oh my God. And I had another guy help me. Like, when I was about to quit and that like money came in, all of a sudden the ball just started rolling hard. It was crazy. Like a lot of my life recently has been like getting taken to the edge, and then it's like, all right, let's help him out. He's at failure. Like somebody pulls the bar up and is like and racks it for me.
Yeah, sometimes you have to show that you're not going to give up, though.
Yeah, well, like I said, I feel like it tests your heart. And I was like, all right, I'm going to put my own money up to it. But I had it. That's the thing. It's not like it was the last $1,300 I had. I mean, I had money from my retirement. So,
what about the land you guys are using? Is that public or?
It's private. And the guides, it's private land.
Okay.
And then I also I have a hunting club that I belong to. That's very affordable. That has about 1,500 acres, split up by a bunch of guys. But what's nice is a lot of them are just older guys, and they don't hunt as much as we do. Like they're not going to go out and bow hunt all year. They're probably going to show up for like opening weekend a rifle and like hunt one day or two, and then that's it out of like the whole year. Maybe some will go back for turkey in spring, but it's a smoking deal. So I got an Air Force veteran, his first year this year out there. It was awesome. And my daughter killed one 10 minutes after he got out there. And then while I was setting the vet down, he shot his an hour later.
This is deer?
Deer, yeah. It was freaking sick. It was like the craziest. My daughter could shoot a gun because it was youth. So she shot the first one with a gun, and then he shot his with a crossbow.
Wow.
Yeah.
What all hunting do you do personally? If you had the choice, I know your time consumption is one thing.
Right now, I'm freaking ate up with waterfowl. Like it's just
what is that?
For ducks and geese and all that jazz. It's freaking. I stayed away from it because it's very gear intensive and it's expensive, and it's hard to find spots. But it's such a good time.
So if you go out and you get a couple geese, do you guys cook those? They're on the land together?
We haven't done that yet. Like we did. No, we didn't do it with the deer. But normally like after that, well, we only got like one each day this time. So like what I did was like there was the other guys, or there's some younger like kids in their 20s like out there freaking hunting. I was like, hey, you can take the goose, because I knew like they were spending $250, $300 of their own money, and they got nothing to show for it. I'm like, I raised this money, you know.
And it's more about the quality time too.
Exactly. Like I saw exactly what I envisioned happen. I was like, which was also testing my heart. It was just like, hey, you didn't slay, you didn't limit out on either one of these hunts, but wasn't it dope to have these guys hang out with you for freaking, shoot, it was like 12 hours.
And I'm sure from the outside looking in, I bet that's what it's all about.
Mm-hmm.
At least to me, that's what it seems.
Well, that's what I like with waterfowls. Is like if you go sit in like a deer blind, you got to be quiet. You can't move. You got to deal with scent control. With a like a duck blind or a goose blind, bro, these guys have like kitchens in some of these things, and you're like whipping up food. You got space heaters in there. There's a dog. You're calling. You're shooting multiple times. It's just, and I got into it too, like for my kids as well, because it's like it's more fun for them. You can do like a boat ride out to this, but there's more activity. So I think it's just more conducive for just the camaraderie that I'm looking for. But I want to do big deer hunts and stuff too, to where it's like you come back, because camp is the real part of like hunting. It's the time together, and then like just hanging out and kicking it. The kill is like this. It's over. It's super fast. It's everything leading up, like the scouting and the preparation, like just the failures, the misses, like especially with archery. Like, yeah.
What levels of people are you taking out? All levels?
Like how, like experience wise,
Yeah.
or like mental health wise? How bad a shape are they? Like, usually I'm the one with the most problems in the blind.
Are you getting like a SX index on these people?
Yeah.
Yeah. So is it a struggle to take a complete beginner? Do you have to stray away from that, or can you take someone that's never held a gun or a bow before?
You could take a complete beginner.
And do you think that would even be beneficial to them?
If it's a goal. I mean, even if it's not a goal, you're just like, hey, I just want to share this experience with you. Like, check out what it's like to go out in the middle of, the Midwest and like wait for a deer. And because it's like this sucks. This is boring. I'm cold. Like, if you don't have the right gear and stuff, and usually most beginners don't.
Do you have a program for prepping? Like, let's say you have some hunts coming up,
Mm-hmm.
and you have some people that maybe they hunted when they were a kid with their father, blah blah blah. Do you have like a regimen where you meet with them and you say, hey guys, hunts in next week. Let's make sure we have this. Do you guys want to come over and meet? I can show you what we might be using.
So right now,
process?
Well, right now everybody pretty much like already hunts. You know what I mean? So I don't really have to worry about too much. I do have a guy, though, one of my patients now, that he's never been hunting and wants to go, and he's super green. And I was like, bro, you want to get a deer? I was like, I'll get you out there. I'm like, I got everything. Because if it's gun season, it's easier. Because everybody has played, and this kid is a gamer. He's not like the hunting type. Good dude. But I'm like, you know how to put crosshairs. I'm going to show you where to put this on the animal to have an ethical kill. And that's because, like I said, the kill when these deer come in, it's so fast. It usually always catches you off guard, unless you can see him coming out in like a cornfield and he like walks the edge all the way over to your frickin' tree stand, which is even worse because then that whole time like losing your mind.
So where do you see the future of this going? Do you want to travel to do some hunts, possibly?
Yeah, my big waterfowl goal right now is there's a place down in Oklahoma called Bar S, and it's like badass. It's field duck hunting. One of the firefighters from Lee Summit is on Heartland Waterfowl. It's like a big YouTube channel, and they're hooked up with like First Light and Meat Eater and stuff. they just did an episode where they just smoked. It was just the most incredible duck hunt I've ever seen. And I saw another Dive Bomb, the one place that hooked us up with some gear. They had a video from out there, and it's just sick. But it's $1,350 per person for a 3-day hunt without food. It's like $1,850 for like all inclusive. But it's like, we're talking, this is a nice spot. Like the lodge is dope. You're riding in like brand new, side by sides. Everything's like, you have a locker. There's probably like swag and stuff, and the food is good. Mm-hmm. So I would like to do that. Western big game is very, very expensive, and the thing is with that, like, that's what kind of made me transition to waterfowl too, because Western big game, it's like you have to find somebody that has that much time to take off and can travel to like Colorado, right? And then they got to be in sick shape, because otherwise it's miserable. Because even when you train your butt off, when you get up to like 10,000 feet, it's the great equalizer. It sucks, but if you're unprepared, if you're ready, it's amazing. Like being around a herd of 100 screaming, well, not, but like 100 elk, and there's just screaming bulls in it, and you're on a mountain. It's like freaking Avatar, dude. They're just like, it's so unbelievable.
I've heard the sounds are fucking incredible.
Dude, I wish I could pull up the ones on my phone, but like them screaming.
Yeah. Well, we can play that. Definitely.
You should find some bulls just freaking screaming.
Have you got an elk before?
So I shot one. It was a 6x6 bull that I had no business getting my first time, like, elk hunting. So the success rate is 10%. So that's one bull every 10 years. Okay. My first time out, it wasn't the first day. I think it was like day 3 or 4. This bull, I was calling them. Are they popping up? So I was just like listening for some bulls. And then all of a sudden I heard, there they are. Look at that freaking beast.
How big? I mean, what you're talking about, how big is this bull?
So but pretty much that's a 6x6 right there. It was just like that.
What makes it a 6x6?
So 6 spikes on each side.
Oh,
that one, that's insane. It's all palmated at the ends. That's huge. Bro, when you hear that, this gives it no justice. But when I had one came around a pine tree at like 25 yards, but I had another one off to me on the side. I came over this ridge, and there's a whole herd, and the wind's in my face, like perfect. Listen to these things.
I've heard it's, just through podcasts, I've heard it's absolutely deafening.
Dude, there's nothing like it.
Okay, so you pull up on this 6x6.
So yeah, this was freaking awesome. I come over, I'm like on the other side of this ridge, like trying to hear for some bulls.
Is this Colorado?
Colorado, okay. Yeah. Northern Colorado, Walden, Colorado. And all of a sudden, like I hear some bugling on the other side of the ridge. I'm like, oh. So I scoot up there in this freaking side-by-side that I was able to use that day, and I get up to like the bench of the ridge or whatever. And I'm like, oh shit, they're like right here. And the wind was perfect where it's like blowing in my, because that's the thing with hunting, everything is sent for like deer and elk and stuff like that. Because their eyesight isn't that great. They can see movement, but their sense of smell is ridiculous. So what's freaking sick about elk hunting is, well, there's like 100 of them. So you can make noise because they're all cracking branches and stuff like that. And if you, as long as the whole herd doesn't smell you, if you like spook that one cow in the back and she just runs up, it just sounds like another elk running up. But the other ones don't know you're there. So I got a bull, like I should have shot him because I had him broadside too, but he was screaming to my right at like 30 yards. He saw me and like busted out, but I had him next to me for a while. But I heard this freaking dinosaur just down the ridge. And I was just like, I'm like Babe Ruth, bro. I want the home run, which was I should have killed that other one. But I'm climbing over deadfall. You know, you got your bow. I drop my pack, and I'm like coming down this freaking ridge on him, and I can hear him screaming. And I'm like, he's close. And then all of a sudden, this guy, he comes around this pine tree, and is just looking right at me. And I'm just like, but it's a frontal shot, which is a very marginal shot. But you're just like, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I practiced like all these different scenarios in my head and was like, okay, there's the two different colors of like their fur. You got to go at the very bottom of that, aim right there, and you could slip in right through there, and you'll be able to kill him. So I shoot him, hit him, but I hit him a little bit left. And I had good blood for quite a while, but I tracked blood for like 300 yards. 2 thunderstorms came in on me, and when he got out of the timber, like into the sagebrush, there was like a clot. And it's just, I mean, we're talking like 2 football fields of deadfalls. Like, how am I going to grid search to see where the hell this? There's no way I could find him. There's no way. So my buddy came out and helped me. The ranch I was on, we searched for freaking like forever, and he's like, that bull's dead, but there's no way we're going to find him. So that's one thing I can't wait when I die. I want to ask God where that bull is. I can't even think about it. It makes me freaking sick.
Does that weigh on you as a hunter? I've never hunted. It was never anything that my dad did. It was never anything in my family. When you make a shot that you already know is a little sketchy, and now it's been, how long would you say you track? You said you tracked this one for 3
hours.
Yards. What's the normal? If you make a good shot, how long would you expect to track them?
Well, there's only so far you can go with until the blood runs out. And it's different. You can get a dog to come out there, but I was in Colorado. I didn't know anybody out there. Well, that's not true. I didn't know any trackers out there. But we kind of thought we were going to find them. I don't know. We're like, because one of the other like wranglers out there thought they saw some freaking ravens in this one spot, but it's like there were bears out there too that was on stuff. Like, yeah, it sucks that like you don't want to take a bad shot on something and hurt it. I mean, that's horrible. But really, like if you have a good shot on an animal, that's the best death they're ever going to get, because they're either going to freeze to death, starve to death, or get killed by a mountain lion, you know.
Or a bear.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that, and that's something that I kind of awoke to.
Mm-hmm.
I was never against hunting because I'm not so ignorant to know like how we get our food now is disgusting.
Yeah.
But also I don't know if I have no problem with hunting, but I always feared that I wouldn't be able to take the shot.
Really?
Yeah.
You fought in a cage.
Different.
Really?
Yeah, I don't care about humans. But I care a lot about animals.
Yeah.
It's
not for everybody.
But I've come around, and the point I'm trying to make is that when I started listening to like Cam Haines, things like that, you know, like the fad is, it's true, man. When you see some of these videos of these animals fighting, God, you would hope they die from the hands of a hunter.
Yeah, bro.
You could only pray that they do, because the other deaths that they die is horrific.
Horrible. Now there's wolves all up in Colorado too, which is freaking. Don't get me started on that.
Yeah, well, and the people that thought it was okay to reintroduce them. Have you had any really sketchy experiences while you're hunting where you were in danger?
Well, when I thought I was gonna die after chasing that herd for an hour, that's
outside of your own.
I had a panic attack this year because I got stuck on a sandbar duck hunting this year.
What's that?
Like the sandbar?
Yeah.
So basically, I was on Lake of the Ozarks, one of the arms out there, and there was just a huge sandbar, like it just all built up in the middle of the lake, and I could kind of see it on my app, but I thought I was in the channel or whatever. Well, turns out I was like, imagine if you could. I was standing up in the middle of like Lake of the Ozarks.
Okay.
So my boat, we were just stuck. So we had to and my heart rate got up because I'm trying to push ourselves out, and then I go into full blown panic attack. I have to we finally get out. I go over to a dock. I rip off all my clothes, everything. I'm in my freaking long johns, laying on the first dock I could see, just doing box breathing, trying to pull out of it, slamming 4 hydroxyzines because I didn't have any Ativan with me, just for the placebo effect.
Which is terrible because that just makes you sleepy.
Yep.
And then you're anxious and sleepy.
Yep.
And then you're like, am I going to pass out from sleep deprivation?
Bro.
Hydroxyzine, what a joke.
I will say it helps me sleep, though. When my sleep gets all screwed up and I have those nights where it's you wake up at 2 or 3 in the morning, but you're exhausted and you can't fall back to sleep, instead of staying in that fresh hell for the next week or two, now it's I'm taking hydroxyzine.
Well, it's an antihistamine on crack, basically. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But now, kava and ashwagandha together, man, that stuff really helps. Lowers your cortisol. That calms you down.
Yeah.
But I take another supplement called NAC that's because kava apparently can mess with your liver, so you want to make sure you have enough fluids.
And acetylcysteine, best supplement, precursor to glutathione.
Damn, bro.
Dude, I preach this to everybody. Glutathione's amazing if you can get, but the thing is, a lot of the science shows that liposomal is the way you need to get glutathione. A lot of the oral supplements for glutathione, you don't actually absorb it. The problem with liposomal glutathione is it's so expensive.
Really?
It's so expensive.
What are we talking about?
$60, $80 for probably
30?
Yeah, probably a 30-day, but generally speaking, you probably don't do it every day.
Yeah.
Let's say you're a 20-day a month, which is usually what people are.
Okay.
I think still $60, $80 on top of the supplements that are undisputed.
Yes.
Right now, vitamin D, you have to have that.
Yep.
Right now, you need a methylated multivitamin. You have to have that. So you're already spending $100 on your multivitamin and your vitamin D, and now you want to add. But NAC and acetylcysteine is extremely cheap from great brands. It's almost like creatine since it's a single nutrient.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's it's the precursor to what they call the master antioxidant.
Really?
Uh-huh.
See, I just started taking it because a patient, his wife is finishing schooling to be a naturopath doctor, and he's like, "This is what you need to take," and that's what I started taking.
I've ran so many transfers down to Children's Mercy because N-acetylcysteine is a drip medication that they'll give to teenagers when they overdose on Tylenol. And overdose on Tylenol doesn't necessarily look how we think. It's like a preemptive. So we know the damage that's going to occur.
Oh, yeah, the suicide.
Yeah, so when you have a suicidal teenager and that's all they have access to, generally they take something like Tylenol. And
don't those piss you off, too? You're just I
don't
not
know.
In a bad. It's not this. It's disappointing. Your life was already sucking enough that you wanted to kill yourself, and now you just destroyed your liver.
Yeah.
You feel bad for him.
Mm-hmm. But it makes me hurt a lot because the only time I was suicidal in my life was when I was going through my anxiety, and that's because I felt like it was the only thing that was going to help.
Yeah.
I was never sad. I was so mad that I was anxious all the time.
You just want it to end.
Yeah.
Because it's I have to have another day like this.
Mm-hmm. But NAC is phenomenal.
Yeah, I just started taking it in the last couple weeks.
Yeah, it's huge.
All these right people have been coming in I don't know what it is about this December and so, even now, obviously January, it's just been phenomenal. I went from seriously about to give up, and now we're I'm on a podcast talking to you about all this crap. How the hell does that happen?
God.
Yeah. I actually brought you a gift that I forgot to frickin'.
Okay, let's see it.
But it's kind of stupid. So it's kind of podcasty. So I got.
It's not illegal, right?
No.
Okay. Oh, John Ott's gonna be pissed.
Can you smell it through there?
Yes. Oh my God!
You smell it already?
I can smell it through the bag.
We're just gonna totally rip off Joe Rogan.
Are these the Jujumufu?
I don't freaking know. I just saw that. I was like, "What's the frick?"
Look up. I think this is the Jujumufu that he always has.
Oh, it's not even open.
This is gonna change my life. There is nothing I would rather be doing more than talking about Jesus Christ hunting in a podcast studio in my wannabe Rogan era, okay? And now we're gonna finish strong.
Oh!
This is such a
not even
copycat,
open.
but I'm gonna repeat this.
I don't care.
The bottle is sealed. The bag is open. The bottle is sealed. And I just got an incredible hit. Most sophisticated formula. Let's sniff this cat piss right now. Oh, I can't wait. Dude, thank you. This is going to be amazing.
I got it because I was like, you know what? I'm like, this will spice up the goose blind. And then I was like, I wanted to bring a gift, and I was like, I should bring. I'm like, this is so appropriate.
We got to do this right.
Because I laughed my ass off watching those videos. Should I take some kava first?
You definitely need to get him a water to pour the whole kava in.
Let's do a little bit of kava.
Okay, so the other ones from my
water.
Juju Mufu. Oh yeah, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
So, oh my god, dude. I just want to make sure we don't have to add water here. Shout out to John Ott. He did the first podcast when I created this show in my basement, which essentially ended my relationship. When you're focused on starting a show in your basement instead of getting a ring, it doesn't help your relationships. But the ones he gets, you add like a drop of water. It doesn't look like I don't even think you need this. I'm going to shake this up. No, we don't need it.
I might take one of those. Thanks, buddy. Yeah.
Are you going to go first?
No.
Okay.
I don't think I can even get close to it.
I can't.
Dude, it was pretty bad. Is it awful?
It's amazing. Get in there, dude.
All right, as a person knowing where I'm at, it's just going to be... Can you smell it?
Yeah, you can do it. Get in there. Get the fuck in there. Get in there.
Stop! I didn't even get that hard into it. Oh. No.
Oh. Here you go.
Oh my God, it's still in there.
No, you need to get a whiff of this. Oh. Holy shit.
Isn't that awful? Oh. I'm sweating.
Oh, I gotta put it back in the bag.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, thank you. You know, I hate
Say pulse?
getting and giving gifts, but I
Not
can
bad.
tell you, sometimes somebody gets you something, and you are genuinely so excited, and I can't.
Your eyes are tearing.
Dude, this is fucking awesome. It even says NH on it, Noah Hellick.
Does it?
3. It's the third show I've ever had.
Really?
Third attempt at doing this, and you got me NH3.
How weird is that?
God works in mysterious
See, that's the
ways.
stuff. Like little things like that are what happened in the beginning. Like,
I hate that I missed this stuff until just this year. But now I don't.
it's still in my nose, though, right? When you sniff in, do you still taste it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Oh. Well, dude.
Hey, what time is it?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I just want to say, I was really going through it, and you answered my phone call, and we reconnected. And really, I wanted to help you because I thought I had the answers. It turns out I didn't really. But then we had this beautiful conversation about God, and I don't think you even realized that I had just come back to that journey. So just thanks for being you, man. And I hope that you continue to do the Headquarters Foundation. And
Yeah,
I hope
man.
it continues to pop. And hopefully someone sees this. Maybe somebody with some change in their pocket. We'll put your stuff on here. How can they find all the
So
stuff?
a guy is building a website for me now. But right now it's just all on like Facebook.
Do they?
So you can
have a page for it, not just your name, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
so I have just Headquarters Foundation, 3 words. You can find it there. But honestly, your best bet is to like just follow me, Drew Figlo, Figlo. F is in Frank, baby. And I post a lot more mental health stuff, and I'm nobody, man. It's not like, but I just care about
you're
people.
Somebody to someone, man, and
Yeah.
you are somebody to me.
Yeah.
So,
Well, thank you. So are you.
no, thank you.
Because just having another person that's been through the same crap and giving me the opportunity to just share and rant for a while, you know.
No, yeah, it means a lot to me that you did this and took 3 hours.
Oh, this was
to
so
sit
much
here.
fun.
This
I was
was a
super
blast.
anxious at first. I love this studio. It's freaking sick. It's like,
Yeah, it
It's
was
legit.
The guy behind the scenes is one of the most amazing people.
oh.
He's a genius. So, dude, thank you, man.
Let's pray you out, man.
All right, let's.
All right.
All right, let's do the double.
Do the
connection.
double hands. Okay. Hold on.
All right, you can feel how sweaty I am.
It is. It's a little bit in my nose. All right. So, Lord, we're just lifting up Noah.
Can you
and-
dim the lights?
Oh.
Let's get a little light dim.
Put some like choir music on. Like some. Pull
Pull up Joy Marie. Come on.
All right. So, yeah, Lord, I just pray for a blessing over this podcast and Lord, that your favor would be upon him. I ask you to impart whatever it is I could possibly offer to this man. But most importantly, I want you to show him that both these guys, how precious and how fearfully and wonderfully made they are, that you would speak to them specifically so they'll be undeniable that it's you, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, Lord. So I ask that you give them favor, get them all the guests they need, all the equipment that they need, that there be a protection over them, Lord, that you bring the right people. I ask for intercessors for the both of them, angels to be released, over everything about their life, their future, their families, their finances, everything, Lord. Supernatural wisdom and understanding in every way, shape, and form, that you would just speak to them clearly. Give them both ears to hear you and eyes to see you. And as always, Lord, answer all the unspoken prayers in my heart for both these men and this mission that they have before them. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Boom.
Boom. Thanks, dude.
Yeah, bro.
You're the best.